Hi, it's Hans at happierman.com. Today's topic is happier man money. Well, money is it's one of my favorite things, and it's probably one of your favorite things too. And the accumulating of it, and the earning of it, and the spending of it, and the saving and the investing, and all of that is very, very interesting. It can be very, very rewarding. It can be very, very satisfying. So I would get the idea in that money will make you happy. It's thinking that it won't is going to ruin your life. Now I will say, I've got my book, Leave Your Wife and Become a Happier Man, with a 3-step system available on the happierman.com website. And so that book was about my divorce, leaving my wife and the divorce. And so for many, many, many years, I was broke, right? My marriage, let's say I was doing very well before I met her. And then, as part of the marriage and the buying the houses and the lifestyle and the children and her not working, I was mostly broke during all that time. Always struggling, always having a hard time paying the bills, always having a hard time getting ahead. The future looked very, very bleak for me. And then when I left my wife, even though financially it was a crazy, stupid move, my life I was even more broke, right? I was even more broke. But what I have found is after you leave your wife and you deal with the beating that the court will put on you, that she puts on you, the financial beatings and various other forms of beatings, you will recover. I've recovered, right? I didn't leave her until I was in my early 40s, and now I'm in my mid 50s, and I'm recovering, right? It takes time. It takes time. And that's why, it's very, very important for you to keep working. It's very important for you to put your head down and work. We're kind of, one of the things I wanted to mention, let's say if you're a younger person, there's a lot of talk about, starting your own business. You shouldn't have to work so much for a living. How do you pay, Well, I would get it in your mind that you're going to work 40 hours a week or more, and you're going to do this for a long, long, long time. And if you do that, you're going to be okay. If you don't do that, you're not going to be okay, right? You need to work to earn your living, right? And whether it's your own business, whether you're working for somebody else, whether you have some sort of another arrangement, you're going to have to get the idea that you yourself are going to have to put in a lot of time, right? A lot of time. And you'll find that the guys that make a lot of money, they're willing to put even more time in than the normal 40 hours a week. They're willing to put in more, 50, 60, 70, 80, more. That's how you get the rich, by working hard at something that gets you paid. Now, if you work hard at something that doesn't get you paid, well, that would be, kind of a silly. It would be silly to think you're going to make a good living if you work hard at something that doesn't pay well. You want to carefully look for types of work that typically pay well, right? And obviously what you do to earn the money should be pretty satisfying to you, and you should be willing to keep making changes until you find that satisfying type of work that also pays well. So I've had to change. Personally, I had a job in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think seven major jobs. And out of the 7, 2 have been really, really good. The one I'm in now is really, really good. It's a great quality of life job. The second highest pay, the least stress. It's the job that I'm, let's say, the best qualified for, and all of those things work together. And you as if you're a younger person, it may take you a while to get to this point. It may take you a good long while. It took me a good long while, and you want to have some patience in the getting of it, so you don't get so dissatisfied along the way. You can't. I mean, I hate to say can't. It's just more likely that it's going to take you time, and then the dissatisfaction comes from a person's unwillingness to make changes. So, along with your choice of spouse, your choice of how you make a living is right up there. Probably the 3 biggest things are your spouse, your choice of spouse, how you make your living, and where you live. Everything else will fit around those 3 major things. That's why it's so important what you do for a living. And then that gets to the happier man part, is if you've got a bad spouse, doesn't really matter what you're doing for a living or where you're living, because you're going to be unhappy. And if you're unhappy in your job, it doesn't really matter if you're living in the greatest place or have the greatest spouse, or if you're living in a terrible location. It really won't matter how great the spouse is and how great your job is, right? You need all 3. So I would focus on those 3 big ticket items to make you'll be a much happier man with your money if you have the 3 big things taken care of. Now, right now, I'm divorced. I don't have any particular one lady in mind to settle down again. And of course, I may settle down again at some point. At this point, I don't want to. It's much simpler for you to be single and happy than it is to be a couple and happy. Sorry to say that, but I'm so much happier single than together. But you'll have to make your own decisions on this. Again, getting back to the finances, it was happier man finances. So you want to get in the idea that you want to work. You're going to work for a living. You want the work to pay you a good income, a livable income, something that you can, have a decent quality of life, have a little bit of money to set aside for the future, have fun with your money, live in a decent area that's safe and comfortable and gives you some of the things you want in your life, allows you to have some money to travel and time off to travel and do other things, because that's important too. I wouldn't settle for a job that doesn't give me plenty of time off. I think that's just a massive mistake that you fall into. Is you need plenty of time off to enjoy your free time. But that doesn't mean you can't. You might have to put in some overtime. You might have to put in some extra time here and there to better yourself and bring yourself up to a higher level. Happier man finances. If you have a free spending spouse, you're not going to be very happy with your finances. You'll spend the money as faster than you can make it, no no matter how much money you make, when somebody is giving it to you, it's very easy to spend. I would think nowadays you would want your spouse to be working full time, so that's, at minimum she's got less time to spend money, and it better she's contributing to her own self and the quality of both of your lives. I would give that some thought. Finances. The other thing is, you want to keep it kind of simple. Don't have too many different financial things all floating around. Keep it to a, it is fun to diversify and have a variety of things. I like that too. I like having a variety of accounts, a variety of investments, a variety of things to try to make money, and but still the main money maker is going to be your job, and you're just trying to, or how you make your living. And this other idea of investing, that comes later, right? That comes to live off your investments. That's going to come at a later time. You've got to do it. You got to think about in terms of later. So what do you want? You're going to be working. So I'm in my 50s. I'm not going to retire for quite some time. I want my work to be good, that I can just keep working at it and still make a great living, deal with old problems, and put some aside for the future. That's kind of the essence of a simple financial plan, is to make enough money to live well in the present, to take care of old problems, and to set aside for the future. So it's simpler not to have so many old problems to pay for, right? Like your big student loans, like credit card debt, like giant mortgages that's too expensive for you. That's for car payments that are beyond your capacity, right? Or dealing with big mistakes like a bad marriage. Well, I dealt with my bad mistake. Yeah, it took many years to recover from that. But like I said, I'm recovering. It's doable for you. I wouldn't be afraid to leave a bad wife because you're afraid of the loss of money. You can, once you leave her, you can scale back your lifestyle significantly. You might have to do this a good long while. You might take you 5 or 10 years to or longer to get back to a good point. But the thing, when you're with a bad wife, even if you have a nice house, you're not going to enjoy your life at all. So if this sounds bad, check out my book, Leave Your Wife, Become a Happier Man, the 3-step system, available on the allhappierman.com website. But the finance, the happy man finances, the income, you want a decent income, you want a job with quality of life benefits, and if you're working for yourself, well, you got to make enough money to pay for those quality of life benefits, right? You can't just go from, X dollars working for somebody else to X dollars working for yourself. You got to go to X times 2 or more to overcome that problem of the benefits, right? And working for other people, it really isn't that bad once you get to the point where you're the go-to person, and where you get good at it, and it's a challenge, and you look forward to it. If the converse is true, where you're not good at it, where you don't look forward to it, where it's really a struggle, well, you're in the wrong place, or the wrong type of work for you. You need to make a priority of finding something you're good at, and something that pays well, something that you can become the expert in. And this may take you some time to become the expert, And that's why, as a young person, you're probably not going to be the expert. It takes some time to get good at all this stuff, and it takes, you got to swallow your tongue and don't smart off, and listen to the old people, and eventually you'll learn who to learn from, and you'll learn that some of the old people, some of us don't know everything either, right? But you want to be happier with your money. You want to have a simple tracking system where you keep track of how, your savings accounts and how much money you got laying around. You keep track of it in an organized fashion. I just have a little spreadsheet, and I update that every month. If you have old problems you're paying for, debts and what have you, keep track of that too, and you'll be inspired to make progress on those by and a spreadsheet. By every month you're knocking that down. You want to keep track of the big things, like you're growing, future retirement accounts. Keep track of however your country gives you money. Like, I'm in the U.S., we have the Social Security. They give you, you can go and look at how much you might have when you retire, along with whatever pensions and savings you have. When you retire, your cost of living should go down unless you've made a series of horrible mistakes as an older person. If you're in a bad marriage, you would try to get out as early as you can so you have more time to recover. That's ideal. Again, getting back to the finances, it's good to have money. You love the options you have when you have more money. You want to, consider it like a little bit of a part-time job, the keeping track, finding ways to save more money, trim your expenses, build your income. All of that is very nice. It's very satisfying. It makes you feel good. You're going to be happier the more money you make. And you want to be happy, maybe most importantly, you want to be happy with where you're at now, right? You shouldn't always think of, I have to have more. Sometimes you want to think of, well, I'm doing pretty good now. More would help, but what if this is how much I make? What kind of adjustments can I make to it to improve my life, right? You want to be happy now, happy tomorrow, happy in the future. So being happy now means whatever money you have now, that's good enough for now. Okay? So give that idea some thought. All for now.